The outrage over the death of 22-year-old Junaid hasn't even died down, and yet nothing seems to have changed.
हम बोगांव से आ रहे थे बारात करके, मेरे साथ छोटे छोटे बच्चे थे और मेरी सब औरतें थी। एक औरत के गोली मार दी लड़के ने, मेरा बच्चा बोला भैया देख के चलो ना, तो लड़के के हाथ मार दिया।
A family of 10 detained in a train, surrounded by a mob and thrashed with sticks and rods. The women, children and a differently abled teenager was not spared either.
हुआ तक हम लोग बैठे थे तो आया तो उसके चाटा मार दिया, कंधा मारा, पहले कंधा मारा, भैया क्या हो गया क्या, तो कहने का क्या कुछ नहीं, एकदम चाटा मार दिया।
Despite their evidence, no arrest has been made.
Well, it is still not clear what exactly triggered this clash or this attack on this family. But we are given to understand that there are some grievous injuries which have actually been inflicted on this family of about 10 people. About 4 to 5 people have suffered fractures and they are recuperating in a hospital.
2 months back, a family of 8 was attacked. The women gang raped on the Zevar Bulandshahr highway. 50 days later, their cries for justice go unheeded. The Uttar Pradesh government may have forgotten them, but Mirror now remembers.
A family of 10 who were travelling on board the Shikohabad-Kasganj passenger train were brutally assaulted by a mob near Mainpuri in Uttar Pradesh. The family members have claimed that they were targeted because they appeared different.
Has the government of Uttar Pradesh completely given up on the safety of its citizens? Then why aren't they acting? What else can explain this inaction? Mirror Now report.
You're watching the Urban Debate on Mirror Now. I'm Faye D'Souza. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Lynching has not stopped in our country. It has gotten so much worse. The last time we talked about this, it was one young person who lost his life. This time, a family of 10. A family that included women, senior citizens, children, and even one handicapped teenager. A fight broke out in a train, and there seems to be a pattern to this. A fight broke out in a train. And when that fight escalated, the person, one side, shut the doors of the train, pulled the chain, got it to stop, and called for help from the local village. People showed up with sticks, got into the train and beat these people mercilessly. We have that video with us and I'm going to play it for you on your screen because I want you to understand how desperate the situation was. Here you see in this visual a train that has stopped on the tracks. And there are people who come in from the neighboring villages with sticks in their hand and they climb into that train. I'm going to ask my producer to play that visual if we have it because I want you to see the cold-blooded manner in which this lynching took place. Do we have that visual? Can we play it for our audience, please? All right, we're going to get that visual up. And to assume that these lynchings are now happening because a fight broke out and this is what happens, this is not the case. People came into the train with the sole purpose and the sole intention of beating up somebody else. They then robbed this entire family and they went away. And I want to just read out to you what Raj Kumar, the GRP, has, and this is the visual, it's on your screen. You can see that the train has been locked from the inside. There is a man here now who climbs in through one of the windows. There's a second one now going in to that window. He then opens the door for the rest of them. They have sticks in their hands. They've all come in with the intention of beating these people up. This is in cold blood. This is not at the height of emotion. This is a calculated move. Look how many people showed up. This is something that should really concern us. Have our trains become death traps? Is there something horribly wrong with law and order, specifically in the state of Uttar Pradesh? Is it now, are people using lynching and mobs as a way to get away with actual crime? And this is what Raj Kumar, the GRP, the policeman who's supposed to be in charge, this is what he said. The family was coming back from a wedding ceremony. They got onto the train. After they got onto a train, a couple of men followed them. One of those men accidentally touched one of the ladies. He has said accidentally So one assumes that this policeman knows that it was an accident and he has evidence to prove that this accidental touching of a woman was not intentional. The fight broke out between the family and these men. The men called other men who came in, and then the entire fight broke out. So this police officer is still restraining himself from using the word lynching, from using the word intentional. He's calling it an accident. What you're seeing on your screen right now is visuals of the family after the incident had taken place. They are all bloody and bleeding, and they're crying and they're wailing. You see some of them are senior citizens and some of them are women. This is the country that we live in right now, and this is a problem we need to address immediately. This is simply a law and order issue. How are we allowing this to happen? Joining me on the show this evening, Anila Singh, spokesperson of the BJP, Pankuri Pathak, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Dhanraj Vanjari is a former IPS officer, Dr. Zina Shaukat Ali is the Director General of the World Institute of Islamic Studies for Dialogue, Peace and Gender Justice. Rifat Javed is the founder of Janta Ka Reporter. Shahryar Khan is an Islamic scholar. Sujay Kantawala is a very senior lawyer. Milan Ekbote is the president of the Samasta Hindu Agadi. I welcome all of you to the conversation. I'm going to start with with those who are already seated in our studio. Dr. Shaukat Ali, how can we allow this to happen? How have things gotten so bad?
It's very, very sad, Faye, that India, as we have seen it, as a matter of fact, I've just brought out a book called The Legacy of India, Pluralism, Tolerance and Peaceful Coexistence, where for over centuries we have lived together, over centuries we have interacted, we are multicultural, multilingual, we have a number of cuisines, we have lived together and we have had our ups and downs, not that we have not quarreled, but this is not the India of our dreams, and this is not the India that we know. This is not the India, and it is extremely worrying that these kind of attacks are happening. Now, whether the attack is on the pilgrims at Ambarnath, where 7 pilgrims were killed and looted, and hurt, and a terrorist attack where which is intolerable, and where we have to find the perpetrators and punishment, or it is this family, a Muslim family which goes under the name of religion, so is traveling and is lynched in this fashion, is hurt in this fashion, and is brutalized in this fashion, is something also the perpetrators of all violators cutting across caste, religion or national, everything has to be punished. And say, I would like to point out that it is time for us to bring out a law to catch these people and make it a non-bailable offence. I believe that there are many people...
Isn't it already though? Isn't it already? Yeah, Sujay, isn't this already a non-bailable offence?
I fully agree with Zeenat ma'am over here. I'm completely anguished by what is happening. Pilgrims at Anantnag, if you see, and this incident over here. As a citizen, as a lawyer, these are serious, cognizable, non-bailable offences. You have beaten, you have robbed and you have humiliated human beings. You need to be locked up. This is grievous hurt and injury, and clearly, possibly this could have led to even death or permanent maiming of some body part. So therefore, these are serious cognizable offences. The police has to immediately arrest and catch the culprits, and the law has to kick into motion. We cannot allow these acts to continue. Faye, what has happened is our highways and our trains and all public transport where we people with our families we go. And if this is the kind of the situation, there is hardly any security. Where is the footage and where is the police? So therefore, this is very, very serious. We as a citizen, we as a nation need to be very, very anguished by what is happening, and immediate action. And once you catch the culprits, charge sheet has to be filed immediately, and conviction has to be ensured, because see, the fear of the law, that the law is going to catch you. Try doing this in the Middle East, try doing this in Dubai, some country like that. You will be caught immediately, and immediately the law. So therefore, as under our IPC and under our system, we have to act, because we are a country governed by rule of law.
I want to ask Dhanraj Saab this question. When you saw that visual that we played of the people getting into the train, sir,
it seems a very planned design of a crime.
Premeditated of some sort?
It seems like it is a planned design of a crime, because 2 persons were following, and then one has touched the lady, and that flare up the fight and everything. But the officer who has refused to say it bluntly that it was a design, he is saying accidentally it has happened. I think this is the biggest challenge for law and order agencies. Law and order agencies should behave more accountable and responsible in such cases. Unless they have a concrete piece of evidence, they should not make use of unwarranted words in their reports.
In fact, Danraj sir, let me play this out for you. This is the GRP who's given a bite. I apologize for the audio to our viewers. The audio is very poor, but we have, of course, transcribed what he has said on the bottom of the screen. Take a look.
स्टेशन से बैठे हुए भोगांव स्टेशन के जहाँ गाड़ी में बैठे थे उनके पीछे पीछे लड़के भी आ गए तो उनमें से किसी लड़के का हाथ किसी महिला से टच कर गया वो पोली इसी पे थोड़ा सा लड़ाई झगड़ा होने लगा। लड़ाई झगड़ा तो उस लड़के ने अपने साथ के और लड़कों को बुलाया, मारपीट होने लगी। मुझे गाँव आया पटना स्टेशन के स्टेशन बाद कोई पटना स्टेशन पड़ता है वहाँ वो मारपीट करके चले गए।
वो कह रहा है कि हाथ लग गया, मारा या हाथ लगाया ये उसका वर्ड नहीं है। आई हैव ऑब्जेक्शन देयर एंड सेकंड ऑब्जेक्शन ही सेड कि उसने कुछ लोगों को बुलाया और आ गए जैसे कि वो लोग लाठी काठी लेकर बैठे हुए थे as if they were already prepared to come back and they were knowing that train will be stopped and they will be coming, but the way the family tried to protect themselves by locking the doors from within, now that fellow is the seen in the picture has opened the window and they poured in, they opened the door. It seems this is a very brutal, inhuman crime, and in humanity such kind of things, and Indian democracy set up if such crimes are happening, as my friend has very rightly said, we all have a reason to be scared to move with our families. Where is the safety? That's why I say this is the biggest challenge for law and order machinery, and police force should act as independent they can irrespective of the consequences or personal sacrifices or resigning or giving up the services, but they should do a very concrete, meticulous investigation, collect evidence to the extent to get a core punishment to such accused.
Let me bring in Anila Singh. Anila Singh, why is law and order failing in Uttar Pradesh? We just had Danraj Saab say this is a failure of law and order machinery. Why is law and order failing in Uttar Pradesh?
No, Faye. Law and order is not failing in Uttar Pradesh, rather we are controlling it. There were a number of cases in the previous governments which were never ever registered. No FIRs were lodged in those cases. But we are definitely, our police and our administration is working on it. This the particular case which we are discussing on today about the victim family, definitely it is very unfortunate. But if you say that Bharatiya Janata Party government...
one second, I'm sorry. Anila Singh, I'm going to stop you there. The word unfortunate gets bandied about quite a lot. Unfortunate actually means unlucky. This family was not unlucky.
If you have gone through the 100 days report card which Yogi Adityanath had presented in front of everyone, though nobody asked him, but he presented, from that report card also you can very well make out how we are controlling law and order. But yes, few cases are there which are very unfortunate. And but at the same time, I can say that I can smell red behind them.
I'm glad Anila has mentioned the report card. I have a report card which I have access from the UP police. You know, the communal rioting incidents have increased by 30%. In the first 3 months of Yogi Adityanath as a chief minister, there were 2,300 plus rioting incidents, which is a rise by 30% compared to the 1,700 incidents same time last year. The crime against women, there were 1,138 incidents of rape cases, which is a jump from almost double, from 700 plus reported in the same period last year. So do not say here, please do not mislead the people that law and order you are controlling. You see what is happening, let's not forget that not so long ago...
You did not listen what I said. What I said earlier in my first line. What did I say? I said that earlier...
I have the report from the UP police. You challenge this UP police data. This is the UP police data.
Okay, hang on. Everybody seems to be upset. One at a time, please.
To Thana, FIR has to be lodged so that at least we should know what is the real status of the crime. Earlier governments, they were never ever serious to eradicate crime in the state. We are.
Anila,
yes,
there was an
few of the
SSP.
unfortunate incidents happened.
Anila,
Again, arrest has been made, and others who are culprit in it, they will be behind the bars soon. But
Anila,
you
can
cannot
I remind
say
you?
this thing that Yogi
Okay,
government
hang on. Let me just point something out to you. Let me point something out to you.
I don't know
Anila
from
saying,
where you have got your facts and figures, gentlemen.
all right, I always have my facts and figures about me. Anila Singh, thank you
Yes.
so much. You remember, Anila Singh, about 50 days ago, 50 days ago, we discussed the murder and gang rape of a family on a highway. We called it the Jewar gang rape case. 50 days have passed, not one arrest. You came on to this show, you said it was unfortunate, as you are saying today. Unfortunate, just for our viewers' benefit, means unlucky. These people were not unlucky. They were victims. We should call them that. They were victims of crime. In the Jewar gang rape case, there was a family of 8 who was stopped on the road. The women were raped. They were robbed. One man was shot. 50 days later, after you promised me, Anila Singh, that they will be given punishment, that the criminals will be caught, not a single arrest, not one. And this is after, let me point out, this family met with the Chief Minister, Mr. Yogi Adityanath, and he promised them swift justice. After they had an audience with the Chief Minister and they received a promise of justice, not a single arrest, Anila Singh. Tell me why this instance today, when you are telling me that these people are unfortunate and they will get justice, how will this instance be different? How? If this is not a complete breakdown of law and order, what is?
Say, if we talk about the Jewar case, let me tell you, if you talk about the Jewar case, it is a blind case, but still the UP police, with the help of other two state police, they are working on it.
So I don't understand, what is a blind case? What is a blind case?
Uttar Pradesh,
what is a blind
the
case?
victims is not fake. You can't say that police is sitting idle, they are not working on the case. Definitely they are doing
if
it.
Either they are working very hard, if it takes them more than 50 days to crack a highway gang robbery and murder, then they are very bad at their jobs. That's how
If she means a blind case means police having no clue. That itself is a failure of law and order agency. That is what we are talking about. That is the whole concern. What do you mean by blind case? I can understand being a cop and now retired that blind case means somewhere we do not have clue to move ahead in investigation. But let me tell you, madam, that itself is a failure of agency. Not only police but intelligence agency which every state has. Uttar Pradesh also has their state intelligence bureau. Ask them what they are doing if there is no clue, and if you are saying on the channel this is a blind case.
In fact, I want to also bring up the fact that Anila Singh kept saying that this was the previous government.
For sure.
Pankuri Pathak joins us from the Samajwadi Party. Pankuri Pathak, and my question and my response to whenever I'm given the answer, this is the fault of the previous government, is that is why you were voted into power. That is why the previous government was removed from power. That is why people hoped for a change. How can we still be blaming these things on the previous government? Pankuri Pathak, go ahead. Right, we don't have that audio, but just to Pankuri, can you hear me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
It's extremely sad that the BJP refuses to acknowledge that there is a very serious law and order problem in the state of Uttar Pradesh, and even after 4 months of forming the government, it goes on blaming the previous government for what has happened. And the state police figures themselves show that there has been about a 4 times increase in a lot of crimes, like crime against women, and we have seen that every time such incidents take place, there is an attempt to somehow divert attention. We saw that in the Jewar case, the police tried to downplay the entire incident. They said that the women were not raped, and still there have been no arrests. And
And this is, unfortunately, this is not the first instance of mob violence. It's one in the series of attacks that are going on across the country, and it also exposes the kind of poisonous atmosphere that is prevailing, especially in the northern parts of the country. And it's just a few days since the incident where Junaid was beaten to death happened, and our trains have increasingly become unsafe. People are totally scared of using public transport now, and the government is not doing anything to address this problem. And it's not only the state of UP, it's happening everywhere. We have seen there has been a since I think April this year. Every month there are at least 4 incidents of mob violence that are taking place, and even though the Prime Minister has mentioned it, he has not yet walked the talk, and the government is totally not serious about this issue. Even the centre has, even the Supreme Court has sent a notice to the centre and to the BJP ruled states asking them about what action they are taking against the Gorakshaks, against these vigilante groups, but they have still not answered. So we can see the lack of seriousness on the part of the ruling government, both in the centre and in the states.
Right.
Yeah.
Rifat, I see your hand go up. Let me just bring in these two voices.
If you want to have discussion on the Congo vigilante, I can have discussion on that too. But I fail to understand, are you forgetting what happened during your government? I do not want to discuss Samajwadi Party here on this show, because again Faye will say that you are playing passing the person. I am not going to do that. I am simply telling about what my government is doing. But people cannot forget what happened during your tenure. Bulandshahr, Mathura, Allahabad, Lucknow, Bareilly, Meerut, n number of cases, brutal cases.
Has taken over.
But I do not want to. If you want to talk about, if you want to discuss about vigilantism, I can do that too.
You do realize
during your
you are fighting over who kills fewer people.
So many illegal slaughterhouses were there. Do you have any answer?
You cannot
Sujay, go ahead.
Let me remind Anila.
Some people are going to blame us that we are doing some sort of injustice.
Okay, one second. Anila Singh, one second. Everybody just calm down. Let's take a breath. Sujay Kantawala, go ahead.
We citizens of India are really not interested in knowing the statistics of crimes committed when A party was in power or B party was in power.
So,
every crime against every citizen, every human being is an offense. Please don't reduce it to this level, this debate. This debate is very, very important. Let's as Indians act. Let's collectively act. We lost citizens in Amarnath. We lost citizens in so many other places. We should act as a nation. Why don't we have that collective thinking? Why is that mentality going away? This government itna rape hua, this government itna rape hua. Is this something to be proud of? That few rapes less happened in your regime or more happened in some other person's regime? Come on, get over it. We are here as a nation. We are here as citizens. We are discussing crimes that are being committed when helpless people like you and me travel in public transport. We with our families are traveling in public. We are scared now. We are actually feeling scared to travel. So that is what we are discussing. The measures to improve safety of our citizens. These are fundamental rights and they belong to all. Not of you or me or any other party. It belongs to every citizen. Absolutely. Every citizen is entitled to protection.
Right, and I want to bring in Milad Ekbote and Shahryar Khan. Milad Ekbote, पहले आपके पास आना चाहती हूँ. आप बताइए. हमारी प्रधानमंत्री ने one second, Anila Singh, I'll come back to you. हमारी प्रधानमंत्री ने साफ-साफ कहा था कि ऐसे जो मॉब वायलेंस हो रही है, ये अनएक्सेप्टेबल है. ये नहीं होनी चाहिए. लेकिन फिर भी हो रही है. क्यों हो रही है?
मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अमरनाथ में जो अमरनाथ के भक्तों के ऊपर जो हमला हुआ वो सीरियस नहीं था और ये ट्रेन में जो हुआ वो केवल सीरियस है.
आप ऐसी कैसी बात
इस तरह की सोच
आप कैसी बात कर सकते हैं?
यहाँ बढ़ रही है. ये ऐसा ही हो रहा है. अमरनाथ में जो घटना हुई उसकी चर्चा नहीं कर रहे आप।
कौन नहीं कर
अमरनाथ में जो अन्याय हुआ उसके बारे में आप नहीं बोलते।
नहीं
और केवल
सब बोल रहे, सब
कोई
बोल
भी
रहे।
ऐसा
आप
बात पकड़ के
देखिए कितने स्टेटमेंट्स आए, इंक्लूडिंग माय ओन।
दिस इज अ मैटर ऑफ कॉमन वरी।
बंगाल में क्या हुआ है? बंगाल में क्या हुआ है? बंगाल जल गया है। 24 परगना में क्या गड़बड़ हो गई है? वहाँ कितना
एक बोरी जी, एक मिनट बता रहे, आप मेरी बात सुन लीजिए।
मुस्लिम कितने एग्रेसिव हो गए थे?
This gentleman
मिलन एक बोरी,
बारे में क्यों नहीं बात हो रही है?
आपको ये नहीं, आप ये नहीं बात, एक मिनट 1 सेकंड, मिलन एक बोरी, मेरी बात सुन लीजिए। Do you not believe, Mr. Ekbote, that both attacks are a failure of law and order? That these attacks should not have been allowed? That attacks are attacks, that citizens are citizens, that lives are lives, and these attacks are fundamentally a failure of law and order that should be keeping us safe? I don't care about religion. All Indian
Madam, I
lives.
believe in your statement, but you are not taking seriously Bengal incidences. You are not taking seriously Amarnath incidences. And you are taking only incidents, today's incidents you are taking seriously. This is something wrong, I think so.
I mean, this is...
Okay, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion, and everybody on this show gets a fair say.
गलत तरीके से हम ये सब देख रहे हैं।
नहीं, ठीक है, तो आप शांत हो जाइए। मिलन जी, मुझे आपसे यही पूछना था कि ये जब ऐसे अटैक्स हो जाते हैं, ये गलत है, ये होनी नहीं चाहिए। जैसे पिछले 2-3 दिन
100% गलत है।
100% गलत है। And the point that I want to make here, is that this mob violence.
मगर इधर
एक मिनट, the mob violence has lost all meaning. The mob violence has forgotten all of its rules. 2 days ago, there was a man who was beaten up in Nagpur. That man is a working member of the BJP. And he was beaten up on a suspicion of carrying beef. So the mob violence has now devolved into people who are taking law into their own hands and using mob violence to try and get away with it. Because they think they can get away with it. Shehryar Khan, go ahead.
Say this is what happens, I would like to be a little raw and forthright in my, opinions. This is what happens if you make a cleric the head of the state. Or misogynist who said, if women acquired masculine traits, they will become demons. This is the man who is ruling UP. What else will happen in UP? Like a gentleman in the panel rightly pointed out, it is not about a Hindu or a Muslim. It is citizens killing citizens. What is he doing there? The crime graph has gone up exponentially, and everybody is feeling helpless. What is happening in UP? It is a medieval state now. There is so much of savagery. It breaks my heart to see our people killing our own people, and this gentleman sitting on the panel, some fanatic, these people should not be encouraged on the panel. He says he is giving it a Hindu-Muslim narrative. Is that the way you talk in a debate, in a national debate, when the nation is India is always about Hindus and Muslims? Can't we think like citizens of the
मुस्लिम का हम नहीं बोला।
प्लेटफॉर्म
आप गलत,
तुमको शर्म आनी चाहिए। तुम पैनल में बैठ कर हिंदू मुस्लिम की बात कर रहे हो। तुम जैसे बकवास,
तुम दूसरे की शर्म निकालने की कोशिश मत करो।
देश का
हम लॉ एंड ऑर्डर की बात कर रहे हैं, तुम शर्म की बात क्या कर रहे हैं?
के बारे में
सब लोगों को सम्मान रहता है। हमारा फर्ज है।
Let me just put this back on track. Let me just put this back on track. 1 second. Let's just take a breath. Now, there is a possibility that this conversation might get derailed by politics, and there is a possibility that this conversation might get derailed by religion. I want none of those things to happen. We need to focus on law and order. Tomorrow it could be you and me in the train. And it could be somebody whom we upset. People fight in trains all the time. If you live in Mumbai, you'll understand that the possibility of upsetting someone in a train is a perpetual and a constant one. But the fear of the fact that this person might call friends who bring sticks to beat you up, that's what we're discussing. In what world is that allowed? In what world do we reach a point in law and order? But this sort of thing is a common occurrence. And let's be honest about the fact that it is a common occurrence. I'm going to take this back to Rifat Javed, who didn't get a chance to finish his point. Rifat, go ahead.
See, Faye, the reason why we are highlighting the statistics is just to illustrate how alarming the situation has become. I am planning to go to Patna. I was meant to have taken the train. I have cancelled my idea. Hand on my heart, I am frightened, and this is the first time it has happened, in the 40 years of my life. that I am frightened to take the train in 2017 India. You see, Anila may be talking about the law and order is robust. Let's not forget, 2 months ago, there was a BJP MP in Saharanpur. And the allegation has not come from any common person. The then SSP of Saharanpur, Lav Kumar, made a stunning allegations that this MP goes and terrorizes his family, his children at the official residence of the SSP. The SSP makes the allegation. What happens? Next day he gets transferred. He gets transferred. That is the attitude you have towards controlling law and order. Will Anila deny that this did not happen? You know, if that is the situation, you know, we are talking about law and order. Now today, let's not forget, you know, the people have managed to smuggle explosive inside the assembly. And we are talking about law and order is robust here. You know, let's not kid ourselves and stop being the opposition. Stop behaving like opposition. You have been in power for 3 years. Look, listen, gentlemen. For 3 years, you have been in power in center. For 2 years, you have been in power in for everyone keep blaming the opposition. Are you in opposition or you are the party actually running the government? You know, it is becoming ridiculous.
शांत हो जाइए, मिलन जी आप शांत हो जाइए.
This is not about Hindus and Muslims. This gentleman keeps talking about whataboutery. This whataboutery has become absolutely ridiculous. Every time something happens, why do they talk about it? We are discussing the attack on the 10 people. Let's not forget, the one person in that family who has been attacked was a handicapped son of the individual. He was handicapped. A disabled son was attacked. And we are saying that nobody died. 3 of them have sustained serious internal injury. What is the guarantee that one of them would not die? You are very partial to die.
मिलन जी एक मिनट आप सुन तो लीजिए. सुन लीजिए.
I mean, what kind of this? I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, we can't just, you know, be flippant about it. This gentleman from one of the Hindutva party, he comes and he shows flippancy about it. I think he should not be encouraged to come on the panel.
The thing that's really worrying here, Zinat, and I'll also go to the other panel.
What do you decide?
Is when we mask every event with another event. Why didn't you talk about this when that happened? Why didn't you talk about that when this happened? And as a result, we're not talking about anything. We're not acknowledging anything. And that grey area is what criminals are using to get away with what they're doing. At the end of the day, criminals are criminals. That is the only color. There is only black and white. Either you're a criminal or you're not. And that is the only color in which we should see these people. We should not care which state they're from, what religion, none of that matters. You commit a crime, you are a criminal, you belong in jail. That is the only color in which we should see them.
Right. You see, our Honorable Prime Minister has time and again told us, very recently he has chastised the hate mongers, saying that preachers of hate and violence are threatening the fabric of our society and these extremist ideologies have to be done away with. Now what are we following the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister? When he is telling you something, are you listening to him? Are you following him? Are you obeying the rule of law? Because there has to be a rule of law, and as I was saying, that there must be, so far as to the best of my knowledge, these are non-bailable offences. There is no law about that as yet, and they're trying to implement that law. Maybe they have, I'm not sure of it. But these laws have to be seriously taken, and the rule of law cutting across Hindus, Muslims have to prevail. And sir, my second submission is, it's time that we only call ourselves Indian citizens. It's time that we learn to understand that we are killing each other as citizens of the same country. Right.
Let's focus on law and order, and I maintain my stand about the fact that because there are all of these arguments that are happening about this government, previous government, this religion, that religion, criminals are taking advantage of the fact that you quite rightly quoted the Prime Minister, and he said it's ripping apart the fabric of our society and of our country. Vimal is on the phone line from Delhi. Vimal, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to say one thing. Whenever any politicians, any political party, whoever is ruling, they only dig out the past history of other governments. There is I believe the debate is for providing a solution. None of them are willing to answer that. Someone will come up with Hindu-Muslim, someone will come up with the previous government did this, why the present government has been given a chance to rule that state, just because The people want a solution. It's not that blaming others and everything you'll get any answer. Now today train, tomorrow highway, anything, everything is happening. What is, I don't understand. Are you there to provide any solution or not? Can you talk about it? That will be much better. Especially I'm talking about Madam BJP as well as that SP. Stop that blame game and do something or bring some solution to it.
Absolutely. Reba is also on the phone line from Mumbai. Reba, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I call it nothing but the degeneration of human character. That's number one. Number two, I think that gone are the days of democracy. We are heading towards a concept known as mobocracy. It's a shame, yeah. A country which is known worldwide for its culture, the secularistic approach. Is this how things happen? I'm pained today. And excuse me, politics is the last refuge of a scoundrel. This is what I see happening everywhere. There are no solutions. They are just jabbering, talks, blame games, escapist attitude. We need to do something. We need ethnic cleansing. Yes. This is what is the need of the hour. We should unite.
We should unite. All right. Fair point. Vikas is on the phone line from Delhi. Vikas, very quickly, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say that people of this country are very smart, and we know that certain sections of Indian media are having agenda against the present government. So therefore, you are trying to fix this scenario against the government. We people are smart. The more you will spread also about the current government, more the present government are going to become stronger. So keep doing your malicious agenda. Nobody cares. The media has no credibility.
Okay. All right, Vikas. Thank you for that phone call. Sujay, I'm going to come back to the legality of it. Where do you stand?
No, therefore, there is a concept of citizen's arrest. And I feel that now it is high time that if a citizen, that is all of us, if we are capable of, I mean, if there is a mob, then we can't do anything. But if on a one-to-one, if we are able-bodied men, one-to-one if we see a crime happening, I think it is high time for us to make a citizen's arrest. That right is recognized in our legal system. But what do you do when a mob is there? A mob with an intention to harm you to the last. So therefore, at that stage, the powers that be, the railway police in this case, it has to be condemned and has to be, the person has to be made answerable who was in charge of that particular sector, and why this action was not taken, and possibly even if the attack was premeditated, at some stage it could have been controlled. I can understand it if some people plan to do something, you cannot imagine that he is going to do something. I can understand, you are not astrologer. But you should be vigilant enough. And why are these cops not that motivated? I don't understand.
I want to ask one question of the panel, and I believe one of our callers made an excellent point. He said, let's talk about solutions, let's not blame each other. We have a few minutes left on the show. I want to actually dedicate that to talking about solutions. Let's set aside all of our differences. It is true that there is no specific mention of lynching under the IPC, the Indian Penal Code, and as a result it becomes really difficult to deliver justice in these cases, because then you're looking for a prime accused and you're looking for everybody else. But this is a group of people who collectively decided and went ahead to hurt someone. How do we fix this situation? I want to start with Anila Singh. Anila Singh, let's set aside our differences. What are the solutions? How do we bring in a solution to stop this? Because if this continues, it will spread like wildfire across our country.
All the corrupt governments, whether they had been in center or in the states, they have made the police system anorexic. So now today we have to make a call and we have to revive the police system. That is very necessary. In Hindi we say that police ne apna iqbal khatam kar diya hai, apna iqbal kho diya hai, and that is just because of the political parties who have used the police system for their own selfish means. But if we talk about Bharatiya Janata Party, and especially if we talk about Uttar Pradesh, since we today we are discussing about law and order situation in UP majorly, I just want to tell you here that we have pledged to the people of Uttar Pradesh to give good and transparent governance, and we stand with it.
Okay,
believe me,
so
believe my word.
Okay.
I can
all right. You're not giving me specifics and I'm running out of time. Dhanraj Sahab, if we want to revive the police, I'm going to pick up what Anila said about reviving the police. If you want to revive the police in any state, how do you do it?
It is a big challenge for the nation's administrative officer. Let me tell you, IPS and IAS, these two services have the direct responsibility coming from the Constitution, Article 312. I think every administrative officer of police and civil administration should come out of the political fold if they are in for their silly postings and little bit of a selfish intention. They should come out of it. They should come forward. This is a nationwide mania. They have a responsibility made accountable right by the Constitution of India. They should understand their role better. As Madam is saying, they are a corrupt government. What do you mean by corrupt government? Corrupt government is reflects through corrupt administration. And if these two services of administration think today that I will take a step and I will see that in my state doesn't happen, let there be a challenge faced by the Director General of Police, Uttar Pradesh. I think this is the only solution where let the high level administrative officer in police and civil administration come.
Shariar Khan, what is the solution? What's the solution?
Madam, I disagree. I disagree with the honorable IPS officer there, because I know how the bureaucracy functions. They are servile to the political bosses, but partly it might be true. See, my solution would be a very stringent law. It is not the severity of the punishment; it is the certainty of the punishment, which is very important. And these thugs who are caught, there are many laws in the statutory book. Now adding one more is not going to help. Maybe, in the ancient Athenian democracy, there was a system called ostracism. Such culprits and perpetrators should be ostracized. They should not be allowed to come back to the state. I think that is very important. In India, everybody knows, once he commits a crime, the chances of escaping are very bright.
So that should be evidence in court of law.
Sir, you have to, sir, you know how the services are.
That is what I am telling.
When the religious leader, when somebody like
you are disagreeing, but I am in agreement with you telling you this thing.
Sir, sir, please listen to me. Sir. Yes, of course, sir. Of course. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, let me bring in other voices.
Thank you, sir.
You said, and I want you to address this problem, Sujay, the fact that the word lynching is not mentioned in the IPC. Where does that leave the law and order machinery when they're trying to solve cases like this?
Yes, so therefore there are other words which are mentioned, and that is grievous hurt and attempt to murder. Those are there. They are heinous offences. According to me, considering the facts of the case, the IPC provides for it. I agree that the word lynching is there. Lynching is a word which is not mentioned, but there are other provisions of the IPC which would cover the situation. And I will go to that extent that if the police force is honest and is motivated and they respect the uniform, then they will take action. Law is there, but it is not implemented. That's the problem. The enforcement is the key. Exactly. And to ensure the conviction, we need motivated prosecutors. We see day in, day out how motivated the prosecutors are. The lower judiciary has to be propped up. We have excellent people who are magistrates, sessions court judges. Give them the proper infrastructure. And just see then we will have an India shining. But that is again a hope. And I hope that hope becomes a reality someday.
Yes, we all do. Veeraji?
I think that, there has been a long pending bill, which is a bill against communal violence. I think it is time for us now to re-look at that bill and introduce a bill of that nature. Because a bill in Parliament...
But to be fair, the communal nature of this attack has not been confirmed.
You see, this is not when you are saying that the Hindu pilgrims were attacked at Ambernath and the Muslim pilgrims, people were attacked on the train.
This was pure arson and looting. Zeenat ma'am, this was pure arson and looting. This was pure premeditated arson and looting. They saw that the family is coming from a marriage.
No, I don't want to give this... No, let me actually point out to you that the police officer mentioned very clearly that this family was returning from a wedding. Automatically, there is an assumption that they were returning from a wedding. They would have had some jewelry. They would have maybe carried some gifts. They had something on them. They were attacked and they were robbed. Also, he mentioned that people came. Where were these people coming from? Were they sitting around, like Dhanraj pointed out, waiting for the call that calls them? So it seems like a premeditated dacoity of a train. That's what it is. And unfortunately, when these things happen, our law and order system is not strong enough to call a spade and crack down on it really quickly. These dacoits are now hiding behind mob violence. behind the trend that they're seeing in the country. What they are common thieves. This is what they are, common criminals, and they should be treated like common criminals. Dharraji, don't you agree?
What is it?
They should be treated like common criminals.
Not common criminals. They should be treated as serious gangsters.
Yes, serious
There is a term serious gangsters they should be treated because the crime, the 395, the proper section dacoity police have applied in this FIR, but they should in depth go through investigation, find out whether it was a pre-planned design of crime. There was the interest of looting, unnecessary taking the issue without any facts on the record towards communal or towards religion or towards party. It has absolutely no point. It's a very serious law and order situation and should be handled as a crime against a common man. As many of my friends said that they are literally scared to move with the family. That is the main concern today for the Indian people.
And what about the hate speeches that one hears of, from various political heads, from various people? Is there anything to stop those kind of hate speeches?
There is a law. There is a law to stop hate speeches.
It has to be, we have to walk the talk, Faye.
Rifat Javed, what is your solution?
Faye, we are talking about solutions. I think, somebody pointed out that police should be taken completely out of the control, from the control of the politicians. Because you see, politicians belong to political parties have ideologies, they have to cater to constituencies, so they will be doing that. And that's when you have the situation where some police actions, it doesn't suit you, you get them transferred. I think indiscriminate transfers should be completely stopped. We have to follow the British model. You wouldn't think police, taking a favorable actions, just to suit up a ruling political party. If they do that, trust me, the judiciary will come down like a ton of bricks on them. It just needs one complaint to judiciary and they'll come down. That complete independence needs to be given to the police force. And if you do that, there are a lot of honest officers. When you do that, you wouldn't have a situation where Shrestha Thakur went to took actions against the BJP workers. The next day she was transferred. There is a lady called D. Rupa in Karnataka. She exposed the VVIP treatment in Karnataka. Now she is getting censured by the chief minister. So it will stop those kind of incidents and it will boost the morale of the police force as well.
All right, let me also bring in Pankuri Pathak. Pankuri Pathak, what is your solution?
See, this is not only a law and order problem, somehow it's turning into a social problem, and a message has been given to the police that the ruling party somehow supports these kind of activities, or they are not serious about tackling these issues.
Sure, are you just making empty allegations? How can you say that a message has been sent to the police by the government that they're okay with it?
No, people. I'll give you the example. I'll give you some examples.
You can't just make a statement like that with just an example. You have to have proof.
Associated with the ruling party. Same in Jharkhand. The person who's the main accused, he's associated with the ruling party. Same happened in Dadri, and we never see a politician visiting the houses of the victims. But in the Dadri case, we saw how a union minister went and draped the tricolor around the body of the accused, giving a message that, he is equivalent to a martyr. So somehow, when you support such activities, when you support people who indulge in such crimes, what is the message that you are giving out? I think it is very clear, and a lot of times
you people do appeasement politics and we do sabka saath sabka vikas. That is the difference.
It was your union minister.
Everybody knows that
Dr. Mahesh Sharma.
How you guys have done the politics in Uttar Pradesh. You have spoiled the system of everything. On each and every level.
Please, ma'am, people of UP did not elect you to give excuses.
आपका तो विनाश हो गया ना पंकड़ी, आपकी पार्टी का विनाश हो गया है.
You have not been able to answer.
Let me tell you in very clear words.
Let us not kindly enter into political parties debate. Kindly understand one thing. What point has been made by that Samajwadi madam is a valid point, maybe a valid point, because these hooligans are sure they will not be punished. And who can be such person who feels that he has a political support backing him and he can go scot-free? Then only they can dare to commit such kind of crime.
To get the bail.
Try to analyze the facts.
What is your
Why Prajapati, a rapist, a minor rapist, one of the most corrupt ministers, and he said that he is innocent and
and he is going to preach to president that he should be out in the
ladies, please.
This is political party. Better be not be proud of Samajwadi Party.
One second. You're talking over each other. Nobody can understand you. It's a waste of everybody's time, especially the viewers' time.
You cannot give on the panel representing their party. Please, 1 minute. Please, just allow me 30 seconds. Both the ladies representing their respective parties, please realize that if the victims are watching this show, what they will feel. If the victims are watching this show, what they will feel.
She is attacking my party. I have to tell the facts.
No, but if the victims are watching this show and other victims also, what they will feel. Please see from their angle.
That these incidents have increased since your party has come into power.
I understand what you are saying.
Anila Singh, Pankuri Pathak, please, ladies.
Why don't you reply?
We are talking about attacks. We are talking about people who got hurt. Do you mind showing a little respect for the platform that you are on and listening to each other? And I think here is the problem. Here is the solution also. Because we are bickering, because we are incapable of actually looking at the problem without devolving into a fight of you versus me, this religion versus that religion, this language, Pankuri, this language versus that language, that is why criminals are taking advantage of this country. If we were actually capable of sitting down and having a conversation like grown-ups, nobody would be able to take advantage of us. If government had the ability to listen to law and order, if police had the ability to actually take a look at what needs to be done without influence, we would not be having this conversation at all today. But we can't see past our differences. And there will always be people willing to take advantage of the fact that we are torn down the middle and we are ripping this country's heart out because we can't see past our differences. There is a constitution, there is an IPC. They're both extremely strong. We have a very strong judiciary. Why aren't we able to use these three things and actually bring people to justice? Because we cannot get past our differences. Because we're constantly talking about the fact that you are national, you are anti-national, you are against this, I have to respond, this is my party, that is your party, this is my religion, that is your religion. People are dying. People of every religion are dying. And people of every religion are at fault. We are at fault. Shame on us. Shame on us when there is a teenager who is a handicapped person who got beaten up on a train. Shame on us when there were people who travelled from one state to another to do a yatra to pray to God and they were killed and hurt. Shame on all of us. We allowed this to happen because we allowed our conversations to become about our selfish needs. We're not talking about law and order. We're not talking about where the weapons came from. We're not talking about how that bus actually became a target. We are not talking about how these people got onto that train and how they knew the train would stop at exactly that point. Let's talk about those things. Religion doesn't matter. A victim is a victim. If someone shoots you, you will die. Doesn't matter what religion. We're all going to be victims at this rate. And the biggest victim will be our democracy. The biggest victim will be our country. We have to show that we are better than this. We have to tell the people who shot at the bus, who climbed into the train, that they are going to face the book because we won't allow them to tear us apart. And that's just the truth. We will not allow religion to trump law and order. Everybody who hurts another person will go to jail. It's as simple as that. You will go to prison because India is bigger than you. Thanks for watching.